Hello and welcome back to That Arsenal Show, That Arsenal podcast on the FOotball Terrace. I'm Adam Charles. I'm from the Fifth Official, and today I'm very excited because I'm joined by a very, 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 very special guest, and his name is Bhavs. What are you telling me?
Yo, man, I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm excited to be here, talk Arsenal.
No problem. Of course. And yeah, the title of the video is Top 4 Back On. We'll get into it a little bit more. I've heard you're a very positive Arsenal fan. I'm trying to be more positive. But we'll get there's a lot of time. There's a lot of time for all that. Another positive Arsenal fan. His name is Igal.
What's going on, people? Yes, you got to see it. You got to love it. You know what? We beat Leicester. We move on. I'm happy right now. After that Benfica game, it's been a good week. Don't ruin my mood today, bro.
No. Don't worry. I'm not going to ruin your mood.
I said, don't ruin my mood today.
I know someone that might, and his name is Kesh.
Why would you introduce me like that? No, man. It's all positive in the camp right now.
Positive, realism, pessimism. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this is the lineup. Myself, Adam, Bhavs, Kesh, Igal, and we're gonna have a couple of guests coming on later on in the show as well. But yeah, let's jump straight in. We didn't get the chance to really talk about the Benfica game, so let's discuss that. We'll try and bring in Leicester as well at some point. But how are we feeling after that comeback? Whoa, both comebacks, in fact. Go on, Igal. I know you're itching.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie to you. After the Benfica game, I was a little bit too excited. People were saying, you know what, you're taking it too far. It's just a round of 32 against Europa League. But you know what? When you think the emotional roller coaster you go through as a fan, thinking you're out, and then you have to somehow score 3 goals. When you haven't scored 3 goals in a long time, you feel like, and we end up getting the second goal. Kieran Tierney gave us the hope and belief to win that game, and then Saka does what he does. That amazing pass. Not Lacazette. Aubameyang, far post, header, goal. And you know what? Going into the next game, you know that there's going to be heavy rotations, and people are saying, I don't even care what happens against Leicester. But you know what? We go against Leicester, we score early, we concede early, and then we win that game too. So I was just very happy. I'm proud of the team. I'm proud that they've done what they've done. We just need to move on, go strength to strength. And you know what? As a fan, I just want to believe that this is the beginning of something special.
Wow, the beginning of something special. You got. I like what you're doing there. You're touching on it. But the game against Leicester, obviously, everyone said we're going to get pummeled. Everyone said we're going to get beaten. Brendan Rodgers, he's got Leicester as a top 6 club now. Arsenal were the ones that are scratched out. Arsenal are the ones that are not there anymore. And yet we turned up. We conceded an early goal. We came back and we beat Leicester. So what does that mean? Are Arsenal a top 6 club again? What's going on?
Listen, man, I don't think we were ever out of the top 6. You know, I think people get confused with a big team and a successful team right now on the pitch. Like, I've even been arguing with Aston Villa fans recently because they think because of one decent season that they're better than Arsenal. For Arsenal, I think the stat was we've been outside the top 5, finished outside the top 5 2 times in the last 22 years. That's the least out of any of the other big 6 or big 5 teams. So let's calm down a little on that. But ultimately, I'm not trying to get too excited with the win because, like for Arsenal, we rested 3 players, but Leicester had Maddison out, had a few other injuries like Fofana as well. But yeah, man, listen, no one gave us a chance going into the game, and the best thing for me was the character we showed. Going behind 1-0 in the first opening exchanges, to come back then after that, and we look comfortable. And for the fact for me that Leicester team is 3rd in the league just goes to show, like, this league isn't what people think it is. You know, Man City are great, but United and Leicester and even other teams above us, you know, there's questions to be asked. So if we can invest in the team in the summer, then I think we can catch them up.
Kesha, I will come back to you in a second. I just want to touch on what you said there, Bhavs. You said that the league isn't what people think that it is. What do you mean by that?
I respect Leicester. I think they're a good team. I'm not trying to cast them, as I said, they got injuries. But I think in any other season, if Arsenal have invest more money and Chelsea, for example, as well, like Tuchel was there from the start, I don't think they're in the top 4 right now. And the fact that they, we played them like that, and they're a good team, as I said, but they're nothing special. And as I said, this season you don't have to be special; you have to be consistent, and that's what they've been. So fair play to Rodgers and them, man. But yeah, for Arsenal, we got to look at them now and go, look, but the distance is not far apart. When they play Arsenal, it's not like even the first game of the season we played them at the Emirates. Like they beat us 1-0, but we should have won that game in the first half. So they're a good team, but the gap's not there. It's not a massive gap there. And quality-wise, it's just, again, mentally and consistency, what Leicester have and Arsenal don't.
Yeah. Okay, Kesh. Talk to me. What are we saying? Because again, I saw you on Twitter. I know you were going at it with people saying that Arsenal weren't a top six club. Is Maddison's absence what made the difference, or is it that Arsenal weren't as bad as everyone was making out?
No, I feel it's a mixture of both. I feel Arsenal actually looked like a different team in that game. Like the football, we started quite quick in terms of our passing and our direction. Obviously, the goal kind of interrupted that, but what it showed was brilliant character to come back to 2 games in a row and actually win the game. And let's not forget, Leicester's been a great team. Like they've been playing very consistently, but it just goes to show you when you take out that missing piece of the puzzle, people kind of underestimate how much one player can make a team tick. I keep saying it. I said it last season when Bruno came in. Man United elevated. They started doing a lot better, and Arsenal just need to find that piece of the jigsaw that makes us click, that makes other teams fear us. And once we can do that, you will start to see a lot more consistency to go on and push further.
That's a great point. I think the consistency and the player you speak about specifically who makes us tick is an excellent point. And one player I think who impressed me in that Leicester game was Odegaard, because I think there's a lot of hype that came in around him. Not as much as Thomas Partey, obviously not, because we were making music videos and doing bad B for flipping Partey. But I think Odegaard has this reputation of being a wonder kid. He came in and he's taken his time. He's been bubbling away. And against Leicester, I feel like he really started to come into his own. Could Odegaard be that player for us that gets us ticking, and that when he's out, we just look bang average?
For me, listen, I said it for the loan. I said there's no harm in getting an Odegaard on loan, considering that we're looking for that sort of profile. At least there's a no risk. Yes, Madrid can then up their price if he performs well, but it's a risk worth taking rather than overspending on a Buendia for 40 mil. You might come in and not actually do what we expect him to do. If you look at that Leicester game, actually, let me take it back to the Man City. After the Man City game, I saw a lot of things on Twitter saying, "Oh, this guy's rubbish. Told you lot, like you don't offer anything. Well, all he's doing is interrupting Smith Rowe's development." I'm thinking, well, where the fans are saying we want our team to push on, but we complaining about having 2 number 10s. Right? It doesn't make any sense for me. At the end of the day, competitiveness breeds success, and it helps people to grow. Yes, he didn't perform well in Man City, but I don't think a Man City game is what we wanted him to start in, because Man City presses a lot, and if you're not really up to the speed of this league, you will get found out. It will take him a while to settle. But what you saw is when he came on against Leicester, he was actually making passes reminiscent to what Ozil would do. The only difference is Ozil's got that quality. Ozil gets that ball on the money where it's perfect. You know what I mean? There was a time where he scooped the ball over the Leicester's defense and Cedric put in a terrible cross. But those are the things that you will see once he grows into this team, whether he stays there long enough for us to see that.
I agree. Yeah, go on, nigga.
I don't think Odegaard was the standout performer for me. I think obviously there was the Willians and the Pepes, but going back to Odegaard, specifically what I seen was that he's shown that he's able to play in the Premier League, and the pace and power is not a big issue because he's technically skilled enough that he can show the fast feet and intricate technical ability to get himself out of tough situations, where other people in the team, they don't have the calmness, they don't have the cool, calm, collective way of playing, where you see other players, they'll try to quickly get the ball out of their feet when they're around too many people, where he will take the pressure, receive it under pressure, and quickly turn and try to find a way to progress the ball, which a lot of players in our team lack that ability. I know it's a very common ability for players to have, but unfortunately a lot of our midfielders don't have that ability to do that, so it's nice to see.
I hear it. And I know you mentioned that you don't think that Odegaard was the standout performer. There's one man called Nicolas Pepe that I think also played well. You get me? Now, obviously, we know £72 million. We paid so much money for him. I think we're even still paying for it now. But yet he came in, He had a fullback that's been overlapping. I don't even know if this is true. I don't know if he specifically requested a fullback that would overlap, that would give him more space, and that would allow him to flourish. But he got it, and he played well. So is this the blueprint now? And is this finally what we need to prove that Bellerin is not the guy to be playing as Arsenal right back, Bhavs?
Nah, to be fair with Bellerin, right? Obviously, I'm not trying to slander him too much because when he came out from the ACL, it was never going to be easy. So I'm not trying to just be negative about it. I've not got an agenda against him. But look, what Cedric did against Leicester was the basics of a fullback, and we haven't seen that for a while, and that's why we're kind of overhyping Cedric right now because he's a good level right back, but he ain't first team for Arsenal. Shouldn't be. He's a good backup player. But now I think his connection with Pepe, he understands his game. And it's not just on the right hand side, but even on the left hand side when Cedric's been a left back and so has Pepe on the left hand side, then he's looked better as well. So he's clearly his understanding there. And I think in the summer though, it has to be a priority. Signing a proper right back, just to give us that level. Imagine we had a Tierney level a fullback on the right hand side, that production value going forwards and overlapping in quality, we'd be a far more dangerous team going forwards and consistently good as well. So I like Cedric, fair play to him, but as I said, I think he's a backup player. And for Bellerin, it's time to go, innit? It's time to go.
Now, honestly, you're a better man than me. Obviously, I know your channel's a lot bigger. You probably get recognition from players like Bellerin. I completely understand. And no, we don't want to tear Bellerin down. We don't want to tear down a good man. However, like Bellerin, Hector, we know what time it is. Bhavs already said it. Time to go. So, yeah. And Kesh, I know you've been critical of Bellerin as well. But I know you also agree that probably Cedric isn't the level of fullback that we want. I do think he gets a bit of a bad rap. And even at Southampton, I think he was very, very solid. But if not him, are there any fullbacks that you think you would like to see come in to either challenge or come in as the first team fullback?
Listen, there's a few. Like I see we've been linked with Lamptey. Preferably, it wouldn't be my first choice. I think we need to look at someone who's more well-rounded player, who's technical with the ball at their feet. Like if you look at what Arteta's been trying to do with Bellerin, which is kind of playing in the inverted fullback kind of position where he kind of drifts inwards at times. Basically making up an extra man in midfield at times. I think to do that, you require the ability to play those passes in between the lines, get on it, not so much bombing forward all the time, which is what Bellerin does. That's what he's best at. And when you see him drift inwards, sometimes he runs into a cul-de-sac and gets caught on the ball, which then tends to leave us very open on that side, and then teams just hit us on the counter. That is predominantly why a lot of teams, when they play us, they target that side, Bellerin and Oldham, because they know there's a gap going to be there. But yeah, I'll look at Max Aarons. Akimi is one of those that I'm very keen on, but I'm very wary of his work going defensively. He's not very good defensively, but maybe that's something Arteta can work on. But if you're talking about technical ability, when you get into those final thirds and being clinical in what you do, whether it's a cross, whether it's just passing it around and everything, he's not going to lose the ball. He will keep that ball. I'm confident that he's that good going forward.
Yeah. One final thing before we sort of move on from the Leicester game is Pablo Mari. He's kind of at fault for the first goal. He just backed off, gave Tielemans a free shot. Do we think he has a future as an Arsenal starting centre-back? And if he doesn't, what do we do with him? Igal, I can see you want to jump in.
That's not what he came in here for, man. That's not what he came in here for. He came in here as defensive cover in a January window when we never thought we were actually going to get a center back in. Same with Cedric. They both came in as cover. And yesterday they both started. And you know what? As bad as he was to help lead to that first opening goal, he was good throughout the rest of the game. He even had a situation where he was one-on-one against Vardy, and he outpaced Jamie Vardy to get to the ball, brought him down, no foul, got in front of him, put the body in front of him, and those kind of things that we just haven't seen from our center backs in a while. A lot of our center backs would usually have mental lapses in those kind of situations and give away a penalty or give away a foul outside the box that would put us under pressure. So I think every time he's come in, he's shown that he's good. Maybe if he did get a run of games he would show that his value. But for the value that we paid for, you're not going to get a better center back. That's just my.
I'm not gonna lie, I like him. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's alright. Like, I think he's better than just like a deputy or a backup. I think he needs work, but I actually think he's kind of solid. But am I moving mad?
No, I think he's a great squad option, isn't it? I mean, you paid, what was it, £5 million for him, and I don't know what his record is, but he ain't lost many games at Arsenal. The only game I can think of is Man City. Both Man City games, because he started the one last season as well. So, no, man, he's got a good record. He does well, and he's got experience as well. He's a good ball-playing centre back. And one thing I will say, though, is when he does play, his ball progression team's better than Gabriel's does. Like, if you watch Arsenal play yesterday, we could sustain attacks, whereas when Gabriel plays, he takes too long to release the ball. His passing's good, but, I think sometimes he just hesitates too much and waits. And, but I like Pablo Mari. I think he's a good squad option, and I'm not, it is what it is.
Cash?
Yeah, I was one of those advocates that kept defending him. I see a lot of people saying, no, he's not good enough, why we signed him? I was like, well, he's a very good squad player. Like, he will come in and he will do a job. And what you notice about him when he plays is, despite the goal that we conceded, he is a calming influence on the defense and the rest of the team. If you see the way we change tempos when he's on the ball, when he passes to someone else, I feel the team kind of appreciates that. Like, as Bab said, Gabriel, sometimes he takes so long and it makes the rest of the team a bit nervous. But yeah, you have to commend him for the way he played against Leicester. As Igar said about that Leicester counter where Vardy was through, I had flashbacks and I was just thinking, it looked so tempting just to go to floor. If that was Mustafi, he's going to floor. But he done well, he stood tall, used his upper body strength well, and got across Vardy. And there's not many defenders who would have won that battle in that moment.
I'm just clocking. Vardy actually didn't score against us. Like, that's the first time we played Leicester in years, and Vardy hasn't scored against us. Right? Like, what? I'll tell you.
Not even that. Adam, we're one of the only big teams that beat Leicester this season. Look at what happened to Man City. They lost, I think, 5-2. Liverpool lost to them. Chelsea lost to them. Who else? Spurs also lost to them. So out of all these teams, we're one of the only teams to beat them. And we beat them twice away from home this season. Just saying.
Yeah.
Boy.
Cup things.
Boy, okay. I'll tell her. The guy. Well, we're going to talk about Arsenal's top 4 chances right after this. It gasses me still every time. Okay, cool. So we've spoken about the fact that Arsenal came back against Benfica. Arsenal have beaten top 4, like Stonewall nailed on to happen, Leicester. What about Arsenal's top 4 chances? Kesh, I'm not even looking at you. I'm hiding you on my screen.
Yeah, don't look at me.
So Bhavs and Igal, I don't usually get gassed, but I'm looking at the table. I'm looking at our fixtures. This was meant to be our toughest run of fixtures. We lost to Man City, fine, but we beat Leeds. Everyone was expecting us to get smoked again because, what's his name? Bielsa is this great manager. We beat them. Cool. We beat Leicester. We were expected to lose. Burnley, I'm going to have egg on my face if we lose to Burnley, but I'm expecting that we'll beat them. Tottenham, form goes out the window. Anything can happen in that game. Then we got West Ham and we got Liverpool. After that, it's still kind of peak. I just clocked. Everton and Chelsea. Still. Either way, am I moving mad in saying that Arsenal can still get top 4? Igal, please just ask me, am I moving mad? Answer me, please.
Nah, bro, you're not moving mad. At the end of the day, it's not mathematically over, but obviously we just need to take it one game at a time. We can't look too far ahead. The main priority right now is still the Europa League. Go against Burnley, we beat Burnley, we see what happens. Go against Tottenham, we beat Tottenham, we move on to the next game, we see what happens. West Ham, if we beat West Ham, that's how many games on the bounce now? That would be 4 games on the bounce. We're going to go up against Liverpool. I don't know if we're going to go on another run like we did last time. That's what we're going to need to do to get back into the top 4. Top 6, though, I think that is realistic. We can get back into the Europa League spots. When it comes to getting back in top 4, we're going to need a miracle because we're going to need a lot of the other teams to drop a lot of points, and we're not going to be facing all those teams. So top 4, we're going to need a miracle, but top 6 and getting back into Europa League, pretty easy. But still, the bread and butter is this season, the Europa League, and we need to focus on that. Olympiacos, I'm looking for revenge.
A miracle. Top 4. Really, man? Really?
No, because bro, I've been here before, and I've said to myself, 6 points, 5 points, 7 points. It's not really that difficult. But the thing is, we always let ourselves down. We always drop points when we get that close. The moment that there's pressure, we drop points. So why not relieve yourself from that pressure and just sit back, relax, enjoy yourself. And if it happens, you know what? You have something to enjoy at the end. But right now, I don't want to stress myself every week in the Premier League. I stress myself enough all season. I'm gonna stress during the Europa League games, and during the Premier League games, I'm gonna relax, because Saturday against Leicester, I was comfy, because win, lose, or draw, I wasn't gonna get angry.
You burst my bubble, man. I can't lie. And I haven't even gone to cash yet. Baz, please, go on. Burst it more. Go on.
Do you know what, right? I have to agree with the girl. In a sense, it's not, maybe not a miracle. It's possible, obviously, and things can still happen. But I just look at it and go, I gave up on it once we lost to Aston Villa. I just said, those 2 games there, if we'd won 6 points out of 6 then, you know, because we're level with Chelsea for a while. Now they're in that race. So it's not possible, as Chelsea have shown. But the games we've got are difficult. You know, Tottenham at home is always going to be difficult because it's Spurs, but they haven't beaten us there for a while. Burnley away. When's the last time we won there? 18-19 on the Emery, the final game of the season. So even that's not easy. As a guy said, you have to take a game at a time. And you know, just as we're celebrating yesterday's win, it could have been the same thing if we'd lost. That'd have been 2 losses in a row. So fans would have been the other way around. So yeah, we just, you know, you have to relax with it. It's difficult, man. But I will say one thing: our form since Christmas has vastly improved. I think it's 7 wins, 2 draws, and 3 losses.
Bro, we're third in the table after Christmas. Like
4th or 3rd, yes. It's
we're
even.
up there,
And one thing, and the thing is that Wolves game, for example, that's where I mean, just if we had got to half time there, we were dominating that game. We should have got 3 points. We would have got 3 points comfortably. You know, that's 3 more points.
Man. It's
a ref, but you know. And the Villa game as well. We lost the game in the first 2 minutes. If Cedric just plays a basic pass, you know, we probably could get something out of that game as well. So, you know, those 2 games there, man. Because United at home, we got a draw there, and City, you can't really stop them. It was 1-0 as well. So it was those 2 games. But yeah, 3 losses, and you know, 2 out of 3 losses we should have won. But we're gonna have to wait and see where it goes.
Is there even any point in keeping this team? Like, go on.
It's the hope that kills you, innit? It's the hope that kills you.
Listen, I'll say it and I'll say it again. We are our own enemy of progress. Only Arsenal can stop themselves, yeah? And yes, mathematically we're still in it, but with this team, I just feel like we never seem to be able to push when we really need to push, when the time matters. And we just need to find that consistency in order to finish, say, around 5th at best. But in order to do that, these players need to believe in themselves. They need to cut out the silly mistakes. Because a lot of these mistakes that we make, it's all down to players individually. I said when we was I think it was 14 games left to play. I said if Arsenal can win 9 games out of that 14, we'll find ourselves in the top 4. Do I believe we can do it though? I don't. We just have to wait and see. But when I looked at before we played Man City, I think it was Man City to play, Leicester to play, then it was Burnley, West Ham, then Liverpool, or Liverpool, West Ham? Tottenham, then West Ham?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Tottenham, West Ham. And I said, out of all those games, the one that I think will be the most difficult will be West Ham. I said we'll beat Leicester, and Burnley, that will be the toughest test. Whether we can string 2 games on a bounce. If we can do that, then I believe these players will start to get that self-belief that yes, it's still possible. And that's what they need to install in themselves. If they can get that self-belief, maybe they can focus more rather than starting games very slow. Because whenever we start games very slow, that's when we capitulate and lose games. All season, if you look at all our results, we're either conceding in the first 10 minutes, the last 2 minutes before half time, and then the turn off half time in the first few minutes, and then the last 9 stoppage time. Those are the times we concede. We never concede beyond that. And that's something we need to cut out. And to me, that suggests it's a mentality thing, because if you don't turn up and with your head on and ready to start the game, you're going to make mistakes.
So we really think that it's to do with, I guess you said mentality, and that is what's going to allow us to win one game, then 2 games, then 3 games, and really develop a winning run.
Adam, you know what gives you hope? That you look at our clean bill of health right now. Knock on wood. We don't have any. We actually don't have many.
Bro.
We don't have that many injuries right now. No. We don't have that many injuries right now. Majority of the players are luckily back. You're starting to see players pick up form. So I get where the confidence is coming from some people. But at the end of the day, until we cut out the individual errors and what Kesh was talking about, fix our mentality, it's going to be the same situation. That's why I have more hope for the back end of the season than I do from the beginning, because hopefully those errors that they learn from and they don't do those same mistakes.
Yeah.
Where do those mistakes even come from, though? Is it? I can't remember what stream I was on. It was one last week, but it was like, is it the manager that I don't know allows those errors to seep in, or is it the players themselves?
It's the players. It has to be the players. How on earth are you going to blame the manager for a player scooping a ball and getting a red card, or David Luiz making silly mistakes and getting a red card, Xhaka choke slamming somebody, and Pepe headbutting somebody? Like, these kind of things are the manager can't control. In addition to giving away a penalty inside the box, numerous silly mistakes. And even just look at the Wolves game. Just look at the Wolves game alone. The 2 goals that we conceded against Wolves. What were those mistakes? Leno stopped the shot from going in. The defenders were not quick enough on their toes to get to the ball, and immediately they just shot in the rebound. Those kind of things are the mistakes that happen season in, season out, and we need to fix those to win games.
Listen, for me, it's a psychology thing, and whether the club needs to bring in a specialist to talk to these guys or something, I keep saying it. A lot of these players are scarred from the failure of recent years. And that's something that's very hard to overcome. When you look at the mistakes, like even against Benfica, Danny Ceballos, like, you don't expect things like that. That you can clearly see there's a man on you and you're that far away from goal. What even goes through your head to even do that? That to me suggests it's a mentality thing. Because when you start, like even the goal against Leicester, when these players are in the changing room, jeering everyone up, saying, "Come on, boys, let's go win this," you don't then go outside on the pitch and then your mentality just suddenly just shifts to, "I'm gonna make a mistake."
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's in the head. Like, they need to snap out of that. Maybe Arsenal need to invest in someone coming in, giving some speeches or whatever, and just finding out what the root of the cause is. Seriously.
Speeches, you know. Get Roy Keane in, right? Get him in the dressing room.
No, guys, don't laugh.
It's real.
I think the Los Angeles Lakers had this.
Is a speech going to help you to pattern up on the pitch?
Bro, don't laugh. Some of the best players in other sports had these kind of mental doctors to help them.
Real, bro. It's
Where
real.
have I seen before that the Arsenal Invincibles used to listen to a specific song before the game? What was it? So like, we're the best, and what's that song called? I forgot. But yeah, like, it does matter, mentality does matter. And these players, I think it's Mustafi, innit? He just influences players, them man there. But now, all jokes aside, though, I think it's not just that. It's just switching on sometimes, being awake to it. They're just not there. They take it too easily. They take teams for granted, and it's the games that we haven't taken for granted, and we've respected the opponents that we somehow managed to win. Like, if you look at our game record against the bigger teams under Arteta's entire tenure, it's actually better. Whereas games like Burnley at home, go and finish the game in the first half, and even the Benfica game in the first leg. What are you doing? Finish the game, take it over. But again, it's like taking things for granted, and that's where we do lack mentality.
But when you actually look at that, this is something that's been there since the early 2000s. How many times do we used to watch Arsenal dominate teams? And this is when we were good, but we used to just take them for granted, didn't bury our chances, and then we end up drawing games and things like that. And you're just thinking, like, the game could have been finished in the first half. So it's a root cause that's in the club. It's ingrained in the club, and I don't know how we're going to get rid of it. But
what we need to do, we need to be killers. You know what I mean? Like, we have to be killers in front of goal, and we're not that right now. You obviously look at the best teams in the world. Look at Man City, for example. They'll kill you off if you give them a chance. If that's what we want to be at, we got to look at them and inspire to be like that. But as I said, it's individuals as well. These players just can't develop this mentality. Go on.
Bav Kesh, look at it this way though. We had players like Theo Walcott say the manager himself didn't care about winning the major honors after he left. Theo Walcott recently said the club only cared about getting back into Europe, getting back into a certain level. So there's even trying to obtain a goal, we're not trying to obtain the major goals. We're not trying to obtain the major honors. So as fans, we want to win major trophies, but those players on the pitch, that's not what they're striving for. The manager, that's not what he's striving for. They're set a goal to get back into the top 4. And when they don't achieve that, there's no punishment. So at the end of the day,
repercussions.
We're gonna get onto the manager in a second, but for now, I think the difference between Arsenal and Manchester City is too great for us to even compare. Really, we know that they spend a lot of money. We know that they can probably afford to scout better in more detail, make mistakes, then go out and then replace those mistakes. So for me, Manchester City, while it is the ultimate benchmark, it isn't the short-term or medium-term benchmark. So do you think that teams like Manchester United, who I think are more akin to where Arsenal are right now, Chelsea, even to a certain degree, do you think they have a better mentality than Arsenal? And if so, what is the difference between us and them?
I'll let Kesh go first because I know he's gonna have it.
I think us and Man United's on the same level. I wouldn't really look to Man United. If I was looking to anyone, it would be Chelsea. Like over the years, they've always been about chasing the title. Whether they've had a bad season before, the following season they're going to be bang on it. We need to inspire to be like them, like in terms of the mentality. But that needs to stem from above, though. Like I don't believe a manager and just the players can create that. That's something that needs to be. It needs to be banged on the nail. Like knock it into them. This is what we want. If you're not going to produce that, then you lot ain't going to be it. There's no repercussions. How many years have we gone by where the players have been underperforming and they still manage to stay it? Arsenal just don't know when to let go. We just hang on to players. And these players are so relaxed because they know that the following season, even if their contract's going to run out, there's a chance of them getting it renewed. And they're going to be here. It's too easy. It's an easy lifestyle. It's like being at it's like kids at a youth camp sometimes. Honestly.
It's true, bro.
You guys agree?
I do agree with that. And I think with Arsenal, I can see, I have to be careful how I say this. There's a slight change because people will still say, but we're 10th in the league. And, I can see the change in terms of you look at the players that we've let go of and just cut the contract short, for example.
No, bro, speak it with your chest. I agree with you. Even though there has been a in terms of league position, I think there has been a shift, bro. I agree with you.
No, exactly. And that's where I look at, for example, Edu now. And I didn't judge him last season because, we had Raul for the first half of the window. So it doesn't make sense on that to judge Edu on that. Whereas in January, Mustafi he got let go of. Kolasinac went on loan. He's going to probably get sold. Ozil's gone, and that was a massive thing as well. Where Saliba, that whole situation in terms of every week fans are saying, where is he not playing? He's on loan now. He's doing his bits there. So, we sorted out quite a few things there, and we were ruthless with it. And also, another example is Alex Renalson, for example. Signed him in the summer. He had one really, really bad game. Other ones, he was all right. It was, it was decent, basically. One bad game, done. You're not playing for Arsenal again. We're gonna go and sign Matt Ryan. So I can see little things, but I want to see it sustained over a period of time. And this summer is when we'll look at Edu properly and go, okay, let's see what you do now. Like Lacazette, for example, and Bellerin. They're players that he might hold value for in terms of sentiment, but overall they're not good enough for us to progress to the next level. So let's see if we can cut them off now.
I agree.
Now, as Bav said, there is signs that we have improved with when you look at our past 2 Januaries, we've tried to make solutions to things that we usually wouldn't solve until the summer. But the summer is the big benchmark for me. I'm not going to say anything we've seen up until this point is a game changer for me. Pate, Gabriel, yes, they're better signings than we used to make, but in this summer, I'm expecting big things. I am not, as a fan, I'm expecting big things because we've let go of Ozil's contract. We don't have a talisman. We don't have somebody on the pitch that you can say, you know what, this is the person who's selling shirts. I'm expecting them to bring in a big fish in the summer. And if they don't do that, that just shows me the direction they're trying to go in as a club. And you know me, I'm a positive guy, but I'm expecting a Jack Grealish. I'm expecting someone to walk through the door that I'm gonna be like, wow, I'm ready for next year as a fan.
Super Jack. You need that financial injection, mate.
Nah,
How's Kramer
listen,
going for
that's
you?
realistic. No, that's realistic. Jack Grealish, Ozil's contract's out the door. Okay, they need somebody to sell shirts. They need somebody in the attacking midfield role that can push the team forward, a leader, someone for the future,
know
someone
what?
for the next 10 years. If we can get in somebody, that's just an example. Jack Grealish is just an example. But you know what? We need somebody in the team to be a talisman, someone in the team financially for the club to sell shirts. And when it comes down to it, they have the money and they have the clout to go do it this summer. Go do it.
But if we're being honest, sorry, go on, Bhavs, go on.
No, so I hear what you're saying about Grealish. Obviously, if we could sign him, it'd be great. But it's near impossible as it stands financially as well, obviously. And then obviously, yeah, he'd want to come to Arsenal because it's still Arsenal Football Club. But then again, Villa, imagine they get Europa League football. I don't know if he'd leave that. But I think for getting the big name signing, the big name signing, we need to address the basic areas first, like a right back. It might not be a big name. Maybe you look at Villa right now, Matty Cash, for example. A player like that, where address the basics first, and then when we get to a level where we need that next big player, then go and sign a Grealish. You know, we've done it for the past few windows. Where look how gassed we were in the summer with Partey. It was a great signing, but we missed out on signing an attacking midfielder, for example. So we've got to look at what's important for us first, and then look to sign talisman.
But Bhavs, let me ask you a question. Would we be higher up the table with a talisman like Grealish? Or look at Liverpool. Listen.
I am not rejecting Grealish. I would take Grealish in a heartbeat.
Let me finish. My point. I'm not saying if you had to choose, fix all the errors on a budget, or bring in a Grealish and worry about all the little things later. Which one would you rather do? Because I feel like if you look at Manchester United, they got Bruno. Bruno came in, raised the whole level of the team, got them from wherever they were to third in the table, back-to-back Champions League finishes. Champions League spot finishes. I feel like if we had a Grealish, we wouldn't have to buy a second center back. We wouldn't have to buy another right back. We wouldn't have to buy another DM. We can buy Grealish. He will carry the team, and those other things can be filled with stopgaps in the meantime.
No, I hear that, man. I hear that, and I think, look, as I said, Grealish is one of those players that you can't reject because he's one of those ones in a generation footballer. Not generational, but you know what I mean. He's a one you can't reject. Yeah. He's a very good one. But again, it's tempting because he's the big name, innit? Arsenal fans will get excited over him. It's like Pepe in that summer of 2019. But you have to, because do you know what? I agree with you, because in terms of Bruno Fernandes, what he's done at United, he's hidden the rest of the flaws because he's that good production value wise. So look, obviously, I would take Grealish though. I won't lie about that. But I'm trying to be a bit more realistic. Unless we get Champions League football by winning the Europa League, then I don't know if he'd come, innit?
How many players minimum do you believe we should be getting in this summer?
I'm looking at probably a right back, a striker, because Lacazette will probably leave as well, and Nketiah. Then I look to sign an attacking midfielder. I mean, they're all three priorities. Yeah. But, so I say 4 to 3 minimum.
Okay. Personally, for me, I think we need a right back. We need a number 10, another centre mid, a striker, and a backup left back, because Tierney can't go through a whole season.
Yeah.
The way he plays at 100%, and he gives you that extra 10 added touch. He will break down if we have to rely on him the way we are, the way we have been this season. So, minimum 5 players for me.
Yeah. When I say 4 players, I'm probably more referring to the fact that 4 marquee signings.
Yeah, I get you.
And then the rest you can sign players on loan or players on.
No, I get you. I get you.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning.
I get you.
In order for us to be guaranteed top 4 next season, we need to sort out 2 midfielders. We need to have. I'm just talking about first team level quality players. We need 2 midfielders, one like DM, one attacking midfielder. We need a first team right back. I would honestly go out and get another center back to bring into a rotation, because David Luiz would be off my books in my opinion. So that would be 4 players I'll bring in, and utility guys I'll bring in a backup left back and a backup goalkeeper. So that's what I would bring in.
It all does sound nice, and Sam, I see you in the back. I'm coming to you in a second, bro. It does sound nice, but for me, it's almost like how recently have you guys been on ASOS? Because they've now got this thing called Klarna, where you can buy now, pay later. Now, if we're buying Grealish or all these nice attacking players, that for me is like Klarna. You're buying it now, but you got a headache just down the road, just over there. It might be more sexy to buy the attacking players because obviously they score the goals. They're the ones that get the bums off the seats. And it doesn't really happen so much with a tackle. But we've always heard time and time again from these great managers like Sir Alex Ferguson, what wins you titles? What wins you trophies? It's the defense. And
Adam,
yeah, go on.
I agree with you. And I'm not even like, some people might look at Grealish different and look for his assists and his goals. I'm not looking at Grealish for that. What I'm looking at Grealish for is the way he controls the game for his team. He could go a whole season and not score for me, bro. Yeah? It's the way he controls. The way he controls the team, yeah? The ball and everything. It allows the opposition not to have the ball. They don't get a sniff when he's on the pitch. And that's what Arsenal's been missing. Fabregas used to give us that. We missed that one player that takes all the pressure off the team in difficult situations. We need that.
It doesn't even have to be him. Just an example.
If you look at Grealish, right, he's what you call, he's a hack, innit? Because he will attract so many players towards him. Look at Arsenal. We had to put 3 players on him, and that gives space to other players. So obviously, look, Grealish is one of those. And imagine him with the Tierney overlapping him on the right hand side. It'd be amazing. And obviously, it also addresses our weakness, which I know defending is a weakness, but this season has actually been our attacking. So if you sign a chance creator like Grealish does, gets his goals and his assists and his leadership mentality as well, then obviously, listen, man, he'd be a massive. He'd be like, he would be our Bruno. He would be.
Let me tell you something, Adam. When people make jokes about Arsenal's defense, that is actually like, you haven't done your research, guys. You have not done your research. Defensively, we've been quite good, even though we've given away so many penalties, given away so many goals from our own mistakes. We still haven't conceded more than, am I mistaken, guys? Have we conceded more than 26 goals this season or 23 goals? I forget how many we're on, but we're up there with the best. I think top 5 guaranteed. My whole point is our Achilles heel was always the defense. It's now become our strength. But what has happened? We've taken away from our attack. If we can merge those two, we're coming back. We're back next year. So this whole thing where people are making fun of us, you know what? Sometimes things take time, and you have to take a couple steps back just to take a step forward.
Fair. All right. Well,
he's dropped the way back.
And Brandon on to see what they think. Yeah, let's wait and see. Guys, how's it going? Brandon, I want to come to you first. In fact, I'll tell you both. We'll give you a quick update. We'll be talking about the mentality at Arsenal, talking about where it stems from, where the issues might lie. We've gone over the Benfica game, the Leicester game as well. But I guess I'll bring you in on where we've just come from, because both of you would have heard the discussion. Do you think that Arsenal would be better off signing a Jack Grealish or signing a number of I don't even know why Sam is laughing, or signing a number of players to try and fix some of the other areas in the squad? Sam, go take it away.
I mean, Jack Grealish, come on, bro. As simple as Jack Grealish can change the whole team. I mean, yes, we've got other key areas. The right back is a key issue. A backup left back, and all the other new striker, because like as it is going. But you know, Grealish is so special. I think he'll lift the energy of the whole team. What I think Jack Grealish is that he makes everyone around him better. So every day of the week, Jack Grealish at Arsenal. You know what? I'll give him 100 million. Let's open that GoFundMe page for Arsenal, yeah? Let's open that GoFundMe page. I'm putting £100, £1,000 in there right now. Come on.
Damn. Okay. Emphatic. Okay, and Brandon, is it the same for you?
Do you know what? That's actually quite a tough question. Do you know why? Because I'd love Jack Grealish, but he's one player. He can't play 11 positions on the pitch. Yes, I agree. He'd 100% lift everybody else around in the team. But I just feel like there are areas in which we need to address. So I don't know. That's a tough question, Adam. That's a very tough question. But I'd certainly like Jack Grealish at Arsenal all day long.
You know what? I think it all depends on the budget. And for me, I know we've never had this sort of budget before, but minimum we should be having to spend this summer is at least 160. At least. No, like you have to think about it, Adam. Like, you got Villa over the last 2 seasons. I've spent 100 mil each summer. Arsenal's not gone over that. Last week, Pepe, how much did we spend? Like I think it was like 80 something.
Mhm.
And then this season, what, 75? Come on, bruv. Like, Arsenal should be doing a lot better than that when it comes to the summer budget.
You know what?
On that as well, if you look at our competition, look how much they've been spending. If you look at Tottenham, they spent 40 mil on the Celso, 55 mil on Ndombele, 30 mil on Bergwijn, and 30 mil on Reguilon. I mean, you got to spend big money to even get in the top 4, even the top 6 now, because this is how competitive the Premier League has become. It's money driven, and unfortunately, yes, we sign big money players, but consistently we don't spend big money year in year out on big money players. Even when we do spend big money, sometimes we don't spend it wisely. So you have to take into account 2 factors.
See, so for me, that's the difference. We've spent money, but we haven't spent it well.
Yeah.
And again, I'll always go back to this. I'll remember exactly where I was transfer deadline day, and I read on Sky Sports News that Arsenal were going to drop 90 M's for Thomas Lemar. And I said, what? That's not my Arsenal. That must be a different one because I didn't think that we spent money like that. And then ever since then, we've been dropping this money on Chelsea rejects, on Thomas Partey, who I think is good, but still we're yet to see the best of him. On Nicola Pepe, 72 million pounds that hasn't really come to fruition. So we do have the money, but it needs to be spent wisely. And I don't know if I trust Arsenal to spend it wisely. Yeah,
I'm not worried. One second, guys. I'm not worried yet. But one thing that's concerning is that we have not been linked to anyone of the level of quality that I feel like would be a first team player. A lot of the players we've been linked to so far are fringe players. The only player that and also players that we have on loan right now, we've been linked to signing, like Dani Ceballos. But I think the only person I can see that we've been linked to that is a first team player is a backup right back. We've not been linked to Jack Grealish recently. It's been rumors. We've not really been linked to a defensive midfielder. We've not been linked to a left back as of late, besides Junior Frimpong as a swing or Junior, what's his name? Junior Frimpong at Barcelona as a swap deal. So those are the only things we've been really linked to. I'm starting worried.
Listen, those are not possible.
The thing is,
and we're not getting any
link. You won't get no solid links until you kind of see where we're going to finish. It hangs in a balance, and that's why you won't see those links as of yet. Give it about till we get to the last 7 games, then you will start to see and find out where we're actually going with things.
Do you know what, Adam? Right?
Go on, Brendan.
If I had the option, right, we could either go and spend £150 million in the summer, and just stick with the same recruitment team that we have, or we could go and spend £50 million in the summer, but we hire Leicester's recruitment team. Which one would you take? I would rather, spend £50 million, but have Leicester's, say, recruitment team, than go and spend £150 million and keep the current recruitment team that we have.
No, but you got to look at it this way as well, because this recruitment team brought in Gabriel Martinelli, they brought in Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who's been well, they brought in Thomas Partey. So there has been good players and there's been bad. It's hit and miss with this recruitment team. But you know what? This summer, if you look at last summer, Mikel Arteta was not manager. He was the head coach. And now he's been promoted to manager. So I have complete trust in Mikel Arteta this summer if he gets the backing he wants.
There's only one thing I'd say to that, though, Sam. Recruitment isn't just about who you bring in. It's about who you get rid of as well. Leicester got £80 million for Harry Maguire. They got £50 million for Chilwell. And then they brought in the likes of... I can't remember his name now. What's his name? Castagna and that for a cheaper price. And they're just as good, if not better. So with regards to recruitment, it's not just about who you sign, it's about who you get rid of as well. And how much for.
Let me just change the topic quickly, because I've not got Bhavs' take on this one. I know how Brandon feels about Arteta. Bhavs, are you Arteta in or are you Arteta out?
I am Arsenal in. So if it's Mikel Arteta doing bits, then it's Mikel Arteta doing bits. Ultimately, look, I want the best for my club, and I can see what Arteta is doing. And structurally, I can see Arsenal improving. But if I look at results this season, obviously we've lost a lot of games, and you can on paper go 11 losses, 11 wins. It's not good enough, so I can remember a bit. I look at the 11 games and the losses, objectively, and there's so many of those games. I probably think 5, 6 of them that we should have won. And individual errors or a referee decision or close decisions. And how many of those losses, for example, have been by a 1-goal margin where We might have slapped off or fell asleep from a corner or wherever.
Mm.
So that's where I don't blame the manager for that. But things like subs, for example, and he can improve on that, and his man management as well sometimes. So I've got questions as well. But for now, I'm backing him.
I like that. I like
I
that.
just want to touch on something about the Arteta thing. Brandon, he is Arteta, and have so much respect for Brandon. I respect his opinion. But then my issue with the Arteta brigade is when they call you names and call you things disgraceful for backing the manager. Like, come on, mate. Yes, you can have your opinion, I can have mine, but you don't slag me off for backing this man. I mean, there's literally no issues there.
One thing I've seen, right? One thing I've seen recently, right, or especially on Twitter, is if Arteta doesn't select someone's favorite player or sells them or does something like Guendouzi, for example, or Özil. Goodness me, man! Like, who do you support, the player or the club? Come on, man. And that's where it does get things. But as I said, every fan's allowed their opinion. If you don't like the manager, it's fair enough. But obviously, some fans see different. And I've done a few polls recently, and I see Arsenal fans are still backing him quite a bit. So, but yeah, man, we'll see where it goes.
Definitely. Okay, let me go to Brandon next. So obviously, we know that Arteta has suffered. He's had some difficult games. Have you seen anything in the last two, especially in the manner of the victories, the comebacks, considering the reason we were losing in the first place wasn't specifically Arteta's fault? Have you seen anything that's changed your mind, Brandon?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Like, if you look over the last two games in particular, one thing you can always say is that the players are fully 100% behind this manager. You can see that. He's not lost any form of the dressing room or anything like that. You can see that players are fighting for him. My one worry is, like, for example, I think our biggest downfall this season is the fact that we start games so slowly. And I'd like to see Arteta try and get that out of our play, as such. So rather than us starting games so slowly, he needs to be the one to sort of get these players up for a game and make sure that we start games quickly, because that's our biggest Achilles heel this season, I think, as well.
Yeah.
But he's learning on the job, and like, the more I'm seeing, the more I'm starting to sort of think, yeah, okay, he's doing all right. He's going to make mistakes at the end of the day. Do I think he's good enough still? I'm very much on the fence about it all, but only time will tell, I suppose.
Yeah, I just want to go on Brandon's point about that. I just want to go on about his point, that we don't play the first half well, but this goes before Mikel Arteta. If you remember when Emery's first season, where we were called second half FC, because every single time we come into a game and we play so poorly in the first half, and then he'll make changes in the second half and we'll come out way better and eventually scrape a win. So it's not just a Mikel Arteta problem. I think it's a cultural problem at Arsenal.
Yeah,
that's what I want to comment on. A lot of the things I see are fans, the stick they choose to beat Arteta with, like Martinelli not starting. How many games does Martinelli start under Emery?
Yeah.
Pepe not started. How many times did Emery leave Pepe out? Like, it's these things that was going on previously on the previous managers, but they're being selective in what they're trying to use to beat the manager with, and I don't think that's right. I think, yes, you can walk the manager out. Yes, you might think he ain't got a system, but you clearly saw against Leicester that he does have a system in place. If you look at those goals, you saw the pattern of play to achieve and get further up the field in the final third. Yeah. So instead of making up lies, just be honest and say you don't like the manager.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to.
Let me say this also, Brendan. You've asked me this numerous times, and I have an answer for you. You've said, who has Arteta improved over his time, right? Let me ask you this question and return it to you. Has Arteta not improved? Have you not seen an improvement in Pepe recently? Have you not seen improvement in Xhaka? Have you not seen improvement in Saka? Have you not seen improvement in Lacazette's form also recently? So when it comes down to it, you could say he hasn't improved anybody in the squad if you want, but you could look at these players and the different players from they were when they were under Emery, in my opinion. And that's something that we can look at and objectively and say, you know what? Big up to Arteta, because he's seen these players were underperforming under Emery, and he's kind of changed their game to suit the system and not take away from their deficiencies. And that's one thing that I feel like a lot of people overlook or maybe just are disillusioned by the whole situation, because no matter what happens, anything positive, we're 10th, mate. That's what everyone tells me. So what can we do?
That's very true. Right. We're going to call it a day. But before we do, I'm going to come to each and every one of you. And I want you to, number one, tell me where everybody can find you. But also tell me the one message, the one thing that you want Arsenal fans to remember or believe or, you know, trust in, maybe a process or something. I don't know. It's completely up to you. But I'm going to come to Kesh first. What is the one thing you want Arsenal fans to know?
It's not even what I want them to know. What I will say is, for the 90 minutes that Arsenal's playing, you back that team. You don't stray away from that, because there's a reason why we support Arsenal. We support the club, not the manager. So even if you don't like the manager, throughout that 90 minutes, you sing for that club and you praise them when they're doing well. And that's it.
Sing for your supper. Love that. Igal, what's the one thing you would like Arsenal fans to know?
Yo, we're all Arsenal fans out here. We're all football fans. We all love the sport. There's no need to be infighting. Just because we disagree with somebody's opinion, there's no need to name call. There's no need to insult. There's no need to... You can disagree on a footballing opinion and still have a constructive conversation. So let's try to have a constructive conversation, people, and stop the name calling and insults, and let's all be fans of football and talk civil amongst each other, because that's the message I want to pass on to everybody. You guys already know where to catch me.
Oh, love that. Sam, what's the one message?
Wait, I didn't even get to say where people can catch me.
Sorry, you're right. No, catch.
Give us promotion, bro.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. That is _K. Tongue got muddled, but yeah, _KESH_.
Cool, lovely. Igal, you.
At the Kitty G on Twitter and on my YouTube channel EGTV. Go check me out, people.
Lovely. Sam.
Listen, my
one
closing
message.
remark, I support Arsenal Football Club, and as long as Arsenal support this manager, I'll support him. There's no need for you, the bandwagon of Arteta hours, to call anyone names. Listen, you have a disagreement opinion. We're all Arsenal fans in the day. Just because I'm Arteta in or you're Arteta doesn't make you a better fan than me. That's the end of the story. We're all equal. We're all Arsenal fans. We all want the best for the club. You can find me at Samuel4002 AFC on Twitter and EGTV Igal on YouTube.
Love that. Brendan, what about you? Brandon, sorry. What about yourself?
That's all right. So yeah, you can find me on Brandon AFC TV on YouTube. All my socials and everything's all linked into the channel as well. So if you want to follow me on anything else, you can do. And yeah, basically reiterating what the other three have just said. You know, we're all fans of the football club. We all want the best. Doesn't matter whether you're Arteta in, Arteta out. It's just an opinion. At the end of the day, I have a different opinion to these guys here, but you know, it is what it is. And hopefully we can go on and win the Europa League.
I like it. Don't worry, we're going to change that opinion about Arteta. Don't worry. If by hook or by crook, I will do it.
No, only Arteta can do it.
Only Arteta. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Bhavs, what about yourself? Message and where can everyone find you?
Message is simple. We just need to stop being reactionary. Like, for example, if we win a game, it's fine. If we lose a game, then don't. You know, if we win a game, we're not the best team in the world. That's the thing. When we win a game, everyone's going, yeah, Arsenal, we're back. When we lose a game, it's toxicity. Everywhere I go, it's Arteta out, he's awful. So just relax a little bit. It's football. Things are going to happen. It's not always going to be Man City-esque. And yeah, back to the team, and hopefully we can win the Europa League. And if you want to find me, it's Bhavs14 on YouTube and on Twitter as well.
Love that. You see, guys, there are sensible Arsenal fans out there. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Six of us here. I can't even count. But yeah, you can find me at TFO Show on Twitter, the Fifth Official on YouTube, or you can find me on the Football Terrace, which is exactly where you'll be watching me now. And my one message is, I don't know, man. Trust the process, please. Trust it.
I hate that word.
They're gonna come for your head.
That phrase has been rude, bro.
Pray for Adam. Number one target.
Pray
Number one.
please.
Most wanted.
That you kill, bro.
And obviously, top 4's back on as well. Bye.
Oh my God.